Today we're with Jami Romero of Segal Funeral Home. And Jami, you're a licensed funeral director?
Yes.
Okay. Just a question I always ask everybody is, what's the most rewarding service you provided to a family?
The most rewarding thing is, having families just follow up with you after everything has been done, and just, them being so appreciative for everything that you've done, because, luckily most families don't have to go through things like this all the time, so they're very unfamiliar with how everything is going to go, and then just having that positive feedback and, being able to help someone at one of their worst times in their life I couldn't ask for anything else in return.
Have you ever had to deal with someone who came in by themselves to arrange for a loved one?
Absolutely. Actually, one of the first services that I arranged, a gentleman came in, his mother had passed away, and he was kind of going around by himself, just kind of going to different funeral homes, asking questions. He ended up, getting his services through us, and it was one of my first experiences, but he was so thankful at the end of the service. I remember he came up to me and hugged me and cried, and it was one of the best feelings. So I graduated from high school in 2011, and then I started college at St. Petersburg College for the Funeral Services program in 2014. I got my internship license right after graduation in 2017. The state requires you to do a one-year internship, and then the beginning of 2019, I got my dual funeral directors, embalmers license, and so I've had my license for almost a year now. And it really started, I think, my interest in funeral service long before I knew that I'd be where I am today. I actually went to my first funeral in 6th grade. One of my classmates had passed away, so I think I've had an interest in caring for the deceased long before I knew anything about funeral service.
It's almost a calling, isn't it?
Absolutely, yes. The people, I think the funeral directors, anyone in funeral service that's in it for the right reason, something happened in their life. Someone made an impact, upon their passing, and that's why they're in it. You can actually do a certificate course that you can just be a funeral director. Or you can, go to school, do all of the classes, and get a dual license. It's one license, but you're licensed to do funeral directing and embalming. The difference between having the dual license and having just a funeral director license is really where you're working, whether it's with families in an office or in the prep room taking care of, the decedents. So anything from basic care, which would just be, bathing, dressing, with or without cosmetizing, to embalming, dressing and casketing, and anywhere in between. Cosmetics, doing their hair, painting nails, shaving. So in school, there's restorative art classes that actually they teach you how to recreate the skulls, and you learn a lot about facial features and how the bones are supposed to be set in place, and there's a lot of mortuary magic, more or less, that you're taught to recreate or try to get as close to possible as recreating a lifelike and
a natural
appearance. Yeah. Of course, definitely, especially on a man that would not wear makeup in life, but, there are circumstances, traumatic deaths, and that would cause the need for makeup, because we try to, make the person look as natural and at peace as possible, and, colorations and things would certainly not provide a peaceful image to the survivors.
So what are some of the custom requests that I'm sure you've had over your course of your career?
So the best one that I can remember, it was different than a traditional service, because the family had requested, they put a notice in the newspaper and requested anyone attending to wear a sports t-shirt or a jersey, or I guess, the decedent was really big into football. So everyone that showed up was wearing, a Dolphins jersey. just so much different seeing everyone showed up without the suit on, without the formality that, most funerals, go hand in hand with. And so I wore, a Bucks t-shirt. I still wore my jacket, but underneath everyone was wearing a sports t-shirt, and it just, brought a different energy to the service.
More relaxed and more close, familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sounds interesting. Was the casket anything sports related?
No, the casket wasn't, but we had the family brought in some clothing.
Mm-hmm.
There was a hat with the Dolphins on it. He was wearing a jersey, which I think is, much more practical than, bringing a suit for someone that never wore a suit.
Thanks very much. This has been wonderful.